Hello and welcome to 2024. It's a new year, and it's time for some new games. I thought 2024 was going to be weak, but to my surprise, there are quite a few releases that have piqued my interest. Whether or not they'll deliver is a different story. In terms of the big titles, there are so many that don't have a release date, or even a release window. A lot of them just say they're coming out in 2024, which makes it hard to compile a list. However, I am extremely excited for the PlayStation exclusives making their way to PCs this year. I'll go over those in the PC section. Fingers crossed they actually come out. So, here's some stuff I'm looking forward to. One of the games I'm looking forward to is Alone in the Dark. This is a reimagining of the 1992 game going by the same name and will serve as a reboot for the series. I do have some reservations since the demo was very short and featured no combat. It's like they were trying to hide something. The environments were pretty nice, but the NPCs, at least in the trailers, looked kinda bad. I'm expecting good performances from the two lead actors, but something about the motion capture feels off. They still have a little bit of time to polish it, but we'll see. Faced with a couple of delays already, Alone in the Dark is now slated to come out on March 20th. Xbox's developer Direct has finally given us a release date for Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and yet there's still so much mystery surrounding the sequel. How much will the gameplay expand upon the first? What will the world look like, and how does the story continue? I have so many questions, but they're so reluctant to answer any of them, or even show anything. I guess that just makes me want to play it that much more. This will be a digital-only release on May 21st. If you're into high-stakes strategy games / city management with a side of depression, then Frostpunk 2 is for you. The first Frostpunk had a very interesting premise, and one of the biggest draws was the unique radial grid around a generator that provides warmth. The constant temperature drops and tough choices you had to make were really rewarding once you broke through. They've been keeping hush-hush on the gameplay details and release date, but they have given us a window in the first half of the year. The fourth game is Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail. Yes, the MMO. This expansion starts a brand new adventure after Endwalker more or less wrapped up the previous story arc. Square Enix is intentionally being vague and tight-lipped about the release date, which is scheduled for summer 2024, which technically begins on June 20th, but I suspect it'll come out late summer. Fans of Square Enix will not be able to breathe this year. Smothered with new games, Visions of Mana is another game that occupies the summer window. I've never actually played a Mana game, so this will be my chance to jump in. Next are the ones I'm really excited for, which are the PC ports. I'll definitely be picking these up on day one. Horizon Forbidden West and the Burning Shores DLC aren't brand new, but it'll be new for me. I loved the first game, and I'm basically expecting more of the same, but in San Francisco and LA, and that's perfectly okay with me. I loved the way it handled with the mouse and keyboard, and I can't wait to spend more time in its overgrown world once more. This will hit stores on March 21st. The next two are still technically unannounced for PC, but as you may have guessed, I really want to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And yes, Final Fantasy will pretty much dominate this year. Even though the PS5 exclusivity window is surprisingly short, I doubt it'll drop onto PCs that day. Especially if you remember there's another Final Fantasy that could also come to PCs this year. Probably one of the world's worst kept secrets, we all knew Final Fantasy XVI was coming to PCs eventually. The first trailer even showed that it was captured on PC, which had me really confused, but excited. They then had to scramble and remove that from the footage and add in a clause that said it was exclusive till December 31st. Well, it's now past that date, but the question remains. How will Square Enix handle launching so many games this year? Of course, I have no idea. My guess is they'll port 16 before they port 7 Rebirth, but your guess is as good as mine. Next are some honorable mentions. These are games I would consider under the right condition, one of them being pricing. January 18th marks the day Ubisoft released their first new Prince of Persia game in over a decade. The series makes a return in the form of a 2.5D side-scroller that incorporates stylish combat with classic traversal mechanics. It's nice to see Ubisoft making stuff other than Assassin's Creed, and hopefully this will get the creative juices flowing once again. Since this isn't a full-fledged title, it will be slightly cheaper than full price, but I wanted to go a little lower before picking it up myself. The new fighting game season is well underway, and Tekken 8 will command the lion's share of the 3D fighter market. With new features rivaling that of Street Fighter VI, Tekken 8 may be one of the few 3D fighting games I purchase, especially if my friends get into it. Grab your copy on January 26th. If I wasn't burned by playing Persona 3 Portable just before they announced this remake, I would have been all over this. Having said that, I'm sure this will be great for both Persona fans and new players looking to jump into the series. Just be sure to set a lot of time aside on February 2nd. Another one to look out for is the sequel to the massive hit Hades. Keep an eye out if you're interested because it's reportedly coming to early access this year. I'm not that into early access games, but I enjoyed Hades 1 enough to buy this once it officially releases. Another one that surprised me was Dragon's Dogma 2. Like Alan Wake 2, this sequel comes out over a decade later. I'm on the fence about this one because, like Alan Wake, you should play the first game before jumping into the second, despite what the developers have said. And I don't know, I guess I'm unsure if I want to do that. But in any case, Dragon's Dogma 2 looks really cool, and you can pick it up on March 22nd. There are also a couple of first-party Nintendo titles coming out: Mario vs. Donkey Kong and Princess Peach Showtime. We're getting very close to the end of the Switch life cycle, but they don't seem to be slowing down. Mario vs. Donkey Kong comes out on February 16th, and Princess Peach Showtime will come out March 22nd, the same day as Dragon's Dogma 2. However, not everything looks good, and there are some things I might skip.
I'm feeling glad I got sunshine in a bag, I'm useless.
Let's start with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I was really excited for this until they showed off their gameplay trailer during Sony's State of Play in February 2023. The collective groan from that trailer caused them to delay the game till 2024. But even with the extra time, I doubt they could have changed that much. And if the recent previews are anything to go by, there are still a lot of questions like, will a UI like that really make it into the release? I haven't given up on it entirely, but I'll wait for reviews before buying this one. The spin-off born from the popular Assassin's Creed Black Flag is finally setting sail, or so they say, again. Skull and Bones' maiden voyage was supposed to be in 2018. Just let that sink in. It's been delayed so many times that many pets could have lived a full life. Even this February release date doesn't feel real because they've set release dates before. But even if it does come out, will it be a shipwreck? I'll hold off before diving in. That brings us to another historical period, the Victorian Age, so to speak. I think the aesthetics of Nightingale looks phenomenal, but I'm not into the open world survival crafting genre whatsoever. But if you are, then I bet this looks exciting. Even so, the style alone almost makes me want to play. Almost. Nightingale exits early access on February 22nd. After the first few months, the roadmap starts to get real hazy real fast. It's hard to talk about games I want to play if I know nothing about them. But here are some I'm looking forward to that I'm guessing won't come out till the second half of the year or even get pushed back till next year. Blending together Chinese mythology and fantastic looking combat based on the trailers, Black Myth Wukong should delight many if it comes out complete and polished. While it does have a date set, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets delayed. But should it come out this year, I am definitely looking to jump into this underutilized setting. You know what I realized after watching the Indiana Jones trailer? I realized that I miss Tomb Raider type games, and I'm not being sarcastic. I find the first person perspective a bit odd though. I would have preferred a third person view, but I think they've done a good job creating a sense of adventure. Indy looks great in the cutscenes, and I'm really looking forward to the puzzles and locations the most. Still, they are just trailers, so we'll just have to wait till it comes out later this year to see how it plays. Not much is known about the story of Star Wars Outlaws, except that it takes place between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. It seems to me that it'll be an open world adventure where you basically play as a female Han Solo. It would also be cool if the actual Han Solo makes a brief cameo. However, there's no date set right now, so we'll just have to be patient. In other news, Microsoft Flight Simulator has another entry coming out this year, which has me scratching my head a little, but hey, it has 2024 in its name. The Wolf Among Us 2 continues to elude us, and Stalker 2 got another delay until September. Little Nightmares 3 might come out this year, but it's also a different developer, so we'll see how that goes. And I'm still waiting for more news on Silent Hill. In other words, we know fuck all. It may not reach the highs of 2023, but this year's lineup looks decent. And if there are slow periods, I have plenty of games on my backlog to go back to. Let me know what you're looking forward to down in the comments. As always, thanks for watching and see you next time.